Welcome. Highfalutin Ski Bum Podcast, episode number 283. It is your pals, Mario and Brian. Mario, what's up?
Not much, man. Just getting ready for a big holiday weekend and getting over another cold because after COVID, you start realizing there still are colds out there. There still are other things other than COVID, and
Wait, there is?
they're waiting to get you, man. They're
What?
just waiting out there.
Long COVID, short COVID,
No,
extra strength COVID?
no, just a fucking cold.
Just cold?
That's it.
That's allowed? You're allowed to have those still?
You're allowed to have.
Unbelievable.
Everybody starts asking you though, is it COVID? Is it COVID? Is it COVID? No, it's just the sinus thing that I have.
It's just
what I get every year, twice a year.
Well, we're glad you're at least okay enough to do the podcast.
Yeah, I was touch and go for a while there. I thought I wasn't going to make it.
Well, you were touch and go last week when we had our interview, which is our main topic. We chatted with our new friend Jacob Perkins, who is a speed skier. Yes, speed skiing. They're trying to get it back in the Olympics for 2026. We had a great chat. We learned about speed skiing, which some cool details to it, like some of the equipment stuff that we talked about, which I found particularly interesting. And Jacob's a really cool guy, and he actually said he would, if we could ever hook up, he would take us to one of these courses and would hook us up with some gear. So
that'd be awesome.
Could be pretty fun.
Hook us up and let us fly down the mountain as fast as we humanly can until we kind of are weightless and then just flying down the mountain.
Terminal velocity, baby.
That's it.
So check that out in the main topic. Thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. Go to your favorite social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Untapped. We are at Ski Bum Podcast. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. Go to your favorite podcasting apps, rate and subscribe. Also, we got the shop, skibumpodcast.com/shop. Shirts, sweatshirts, mugs. We got some fun stuff there.
Get your merch. It's coming up soon.
Get your merch. Now. Get your merch. Come on. Look like something. Like, show your skier. It's fun.
Yeah.
Live a little.
You need a shirt for the beach. You're hanging out at the beach. Somebody's like, hey, what's up, big boy? You're a high-falutin ski bum, right?
Always represent skiing. No matter where you are, what the temperature is, that's what we do.
A always BBS skiing. ABS, always be skiing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I was flipping through Netflix and I just put that scene on. I just watched that scene out of the whole movie.
Put the coffee down.
I just wanted a nice 15 minutes. I was like, you know what? I want to see that scene right now. I just went right to that scene.
The most amazing part of that scene is that Alec Baldwin didn't shoot anybody.
Allegedly didn't shoot anybody.
Allegedly, right?
Wait, did you see the director's cut?
Director's shot.
Oh, boom.
Mario, I think it's time to kick it off the way we always do.
It's time for Opry Today.
So I got a special gift for, I'm trying to think when this was. This might have been Christmas. Is it a Christmas gift or birthday gift? My Christmas and birthday for me is like right near each other. So this is one of those. And so I've had it for a few months, just kind of sitting there waiting. I finally cracked it open. So I told Brian that I'm like, I don't care if I got stuff as a gift, if it's nice and fancy. I'm just opening shit now. I'm eating stuff. I don't care. You got a Barolo that's supposed to be saved for like 10 years. I don't care. I'm going to drink it now. I don't give a shit. I might not live. This is what I'm saying. So I got this Blade and Bow bourbon.
Look at that. Blade and Bow.
And it's really cool because it comes with this key. And you collect the keys. And if you collect the 5 different keys on each bottle, you can actually join their club, the 5 Keys Club. And then they invite you to all this like secret shit.
Ooh.
Which is pretty neat. So the distillery that makes it is Sitzel Weller. And it's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And it uses a unique Solera system aging process. And they're saying what that does, it preserves some of the oldest whiskey stocks with some of the last bourbon produced before it was produced there before it closed in 1992. So the Solera liquid is mingled with other fine whiskeys aged and bottled at Sitzel-Weller. So it's very interesting. So the Solera system, now they mingle older whiskeys with younger whiskeys, and they kind of get it. They have this whole, I don't know, aging system, Kentucky bourbon aging system. But yeah, it's pretty neat. They age it in white oak barrels, fresh fruit, apricot, ripe pear. I don't know. It tastes pretty damn good to me.
It sounds really good.
I gotta say, this is good. It's not sharp or it doesn't have a big bite to it, especially when it sits for a little while, opens up. This one's really good. It's a good one. I tell you what, I would suggest, Brian, you grab yourself a bottle of this.
Blade and Bow.
Blade and Bow.
I mean, it seems like a pretty fancy one. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if you can just go out and buy this bourbon. It seems like it's.
I don't know. I got it from somebody down here. They went to, I think, Total Wine.
I'm seeing Total Wine's website has it for $49.99.
Boom.
In
so it's not too expensive,
right now.
Huh?
In stock right now at the River Edge, New Jersey Total Wine.
Now you got to make sure when you look at the keys, though, they have keys 1 through 5. So there's one that's harder to get. So when you look at the bottles, you got to look at the number of the key, so you make sure you get all the keys.
For some reason, at my local Total Wine, it's $2 more. It's $51.99.
Oh, that's because you're in a fancy area.
The other town was fancy too. I don't know why. It's got to drive an extra $2 worth of gas to get to my Total Wine. I don't know.
I just want to get into this club because I want to get invited to. Remember, we got on some mailing lists for some cool stuff like the Remy Martin tasting
back in the day. Yeah.
Like we would get invited to like some secret Fidelio shit. It was great. It was like secret society stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here, but I'm gonna.
Keys are involved. That's right. Like, is this like one of those weird kind of key parties? You know, you check your key in the thing, and you know,
it's kind of weird.
Happens.
Like, remember we went to the was it the Milk Gallery in? It's by Batali's place, right around there.
By the market, Chelsea Market, right?
Like Chelsea Market, and we went there, and they had the whole Remy Martin tasting.
Remy Martin, as you mean?
Remy Martin, and that's pretty cool. It was like all free, and we're like walking around, like, is this all free? Like
that was one with the they actually had the XO there. They were pouring.
Yeah, it was like legit stuff.
And we're like, yeah, we just get this. Like,
I'm like, you mean I just reply yes? And we were on some great mailing lists for a little while. I don't know how we got off it, but
goddamn COVID.
I don't remember how we got on it. I don't remember how we got off it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that sounds delicious, and I kind of want to try this this bourbon, this Blade and Bow. Well, mine's got a little story to it. So you had the bourbon going. You were like, I'm going to have this for the app right today, and I'm like, I was going to have a kind of a chill lame beer, and I decided against it because you inspired me.
You got to do it.
So I have a lot of bourbon upstairs. When I'm here down in the cave in the studio area, I got some like overload booze that didn't fit in the cabinet and stuff that's kind of just around. And I had this.
That's they call that the doghouse stock. So when you're in the doghouse, you go to the basement and then you just have your little private stock of just.
The thing is, it's not bad.
Like drinking stuff.
I refuse bad stuff. Like we talked about this a few months ago, where we're like, you know, I'll just pour beers out now. If they're like old beers or they're gross, like I'm not even keeping them around.
Oh yeah, chuck them out.
Poured out of here. Same with my booze. Like I don't keep crap stuff around. I only like the good stuff. Not wasting time. Not wasting liver damage on crap. Only good stuff. This whiskey that I have, it's one of those things like I didn't want to finish it. I left a little bit in there. I didn't want to finish it because it reminds me of a good time. It is from October of 2019. Talking about the things we were invited to and all the fun stuff. I was at a Ski Utah event in New York City. And I was chatting with the bartender there. They were making, I believe it was old fashions. It was old fashions. And I was chatting with them. Because that was a week. I think there was 2 events. It was like an Icon Pass event and a Ski Utah event. I feel like I was a goddamn king.
wasn't the one you went and Johnny Mosley was there?
That was the Icon Pass one.
Yeah, that was that weekend.
Utah
right?
one. That was so cool. So the Ski Utah one, they of course had Mario's favorite High West Distillery.
Doesn't exist. That place doesn't exist.
And I was chatting with Steve, the bartender. He was a snowboarder, a really cool guy. And we were trying to get him on the podcast back then. But of course, the world kind of got stupid. And we actually had a bunch of really good interviews lined up and trying to get him on. Didn't pan out. Thanks, COVID. So our friend Rich was able to get a bottle from him. And I said to him, like, hey, do you have any other bottles like that I can take with me? And he's like, well, this bottle's open and probably shouldn't be able to take it around. I'm like, I got a backpack. He's like, you got a backpack? I'm like, I got a backpack. He's like, all right, you can take it. So this bottle of High West Double Rye, it was probably like to here.
Nice.
Like when he gave it to
almost all the way to the top.
Almost all the way. He's like, we're just going to throw it out or whatever. I'm like,
isn't that crazy? They have an event. They're like, yeah, we're going to throw it out. We can't do anything with a half open bottle, right?
Yeah. I'm like, just pass it over to me. I got a backpack. So put in the backpack on the train, went home.
Always carry the backpack. That's what I'm saying.
Always carry the backpack. That's the key. And this is a good whiskey. It's double rye. Now, I don't have the most sophisticated palate. I'll admit it. I know what I like. I know it's good. I'm not pulling out all these weird little fragrances and smells. And I'm drinking it out of the most classless, trashy freaking mug. I got a beer mug I'm drinking out of because I don't have a special fancy glass. So you're not getting
have
smells.
Like me. This was my wedding gift to myself. My wife and I gave it to each other. This is Waterford.
Look at you. I don't even know you anymore.
Whiskey set, bro. That's it.
You used to drink out of red paper cups, bourbon.
This is Irish. What they do. It's whiskey.
Yeah. So, and again too, this has been in the freezer. I don't know, the kids grabbed it with boogery hands. I'm not getting the proper nose and palate. The kids are both sick. They're gross. So I'm not getting the nose and stuff that you usually get. So I actually had to go to the website or a website and get some details. So they're saying nose, rye, spice, apple cinnamon, apple cider, and mint.
Nice.
Mint. Get that.
A little minty?
Yeah, a little spice, a little bit of burn, but it's very chill. And like the one you had, this is a mix of two different ones, but these are ryes, a 2-year and a 16-year.
Yeah. See, that's what I guess what they do a lot. It smooths out the flavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it can be too new and too hot.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem with drinking it neat is it goes down like water. And see, this bottle was almost up to here when I started.
Was that a new bottle? Ooh, yeah.
It was almost new, and I'm like, I'm pretty putting a dent in it. I'm like, you just don't realize it just goes down so easy once it hits your lips.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this website, breakingbourbon.com. So they're saying, this is like a $40 bottle, the double rye. This guy is saying, I would take this over a $70 bottle of Whistle Pig any day of the week.
Whistle Pig?
Boom.
You're throwing shade at Whistle Pig. That's fucked up.
Throwing shade at the pig.
Damn.
I love the pig.
I
love the pig. We've had some wonderful times with the pig.
The pig's been... It's good to go hog wild once in a while.
I just remember that time at the wonderful Pinnacle hot tub at Killington when you, me, and Rem just decimated that bottle.
Yeah, there were some people pilfering a little taste here and there too, but it was pretty...
But for the most part, it was the three of us just destroying that bottle in an hour.
Yeah, that was Was that the 10-year-old we got? It was the special Vermont Whistle Pig one.
It was a special. The 10-year is the standard one, but it was a special version of that, just the Vermont.
It's the Vermont one, yeah.
Yeah. But
it's the Whistle Pig Vermont one. It was the...
It wasn't the Boss Hog, or whatever the next one is. Didn't we get the red one?
It wasn't the maple syrup one.
No, I think it was just a special edition of that one. It wasn't a single barrel or something. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of their crazy expensive ones. Because they have that something World one that's the red bottle.
Yeah. Oh, look, they got the farm stock rye and the farm stock bourbon. I think I don't know. It had a little greenish label, but it wasn't farm stock.
No. Oh, the Old World rye. That's the one. I think one time we had that.
Oh, no, this is it. The farm stock. The farm stock is the Vermont one.
Is that the one?
They had a different label, but I guess that's what they rebranded it.
Okay. It was really good.
Yeah, because there's a Vermont on the bottle. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, get back.
Good stuff. Well, actually, it's a perfect transition.
Let's go to ski news.
Our first story about the good state of Vermont. Well, at least one of the ski areas in Vermont. Suicide 6 is changing its name. The Suicide 6 name will be retired this summer. Our resort team embraces the increasing awareness surrounding mental health and shares the growing concerns about the insensitive nature of the historical name. The feelings that the word suicide evokes can have a significant impact on many in our community. The Suicide 6 ski area has an enduring legacy spanning nearly 9 decades, and it is vital that the name better represents and celebrates what makes it a beloved and vibrant part of the community. Though some may find the change difficult, we stand by our conviction that the evolution is warranted for an iconic treasure and, more importantly, necessary to continue its rich history of inclusion and accessibility. After much thought and consideration, research, and community outreach, a new name has been developed and will be announced in the coming weeks. The change is being made with great care and respect. We look forward to sharing it with you soon.
So you're saying they're going to change it to like Tampon Ridge or something? I'm sorry. What
I don't know.
Moist Mountain? Like, what are they going to do? Like Powder Puff Ridge? Like, I'm just saying.
Let's be honest. The name Suicide 6 is a weird goddamn name.
But it's kind of like,
right?
It's Suicide Hill. It's suicide to go down that hill kind of thing. Like, I get the idea. Like, growing up, like, we had a hill. And it was Suicide Hill to go down on your bike. And a lot of people would crash and carnage, whatever. But it was kind of harmless. It was like a rite of passage, you know?
Yeah.
I get the name sensitivity. I get that in certain contexts. But it depends where your head's at, right? If your head's at, oh, that's just what it's called, versus I'm going to put everything in my mind on top of something that's named something and it's going to be something else that it's not, but then it's not, I don't know. That's not right.
Yeah. I mean, would anyone go there to commit suicide?
Can you imagine if they had a mass suicide there? Then I'd be like, okay, we're changing the name.
There was like a cult.
Yeah. Like,
and that was like their mountain.
Heaven's Gate, right?
Like a Heaven's Gate cult.
Oh, like Jonestown, right at the.
They set up like a wood chipper at the bottom of the hill, and they all just like skied into it. Like,
oh my god, that'd be terrifying.
Crazy. Like, man, we gotta change the name of this place.
Like Jonestown, everybody drinking like Kool-Aid or whatever it was.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Damn.
I mean, it is a weird name. I actually think I have a Suicide 6 cowbell over here somewhere.
You better get your merchandise now.
Get your merch.
I gotta see if they're selling. Hold on a second. Are they selling merchandise? Let's see. Lift passes, gift cards, pack. Damn it.
There's nothing available anymore.
Yeah, it's like the Washington Redskins. You know, somebody's walking around with like a Redskins jersey, like just saving it. Like they went out, they bought them all, right?
Getting like a Robert Griffin III jersey.
That's right.
They got on eBay for like $4. Like, no big deal.
That's right.
It's got a goddamn Redskin on there though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird.
Yeah, weird name. It can't be. It's definitely gonna be muted. I'm thinking.
Muted. Just call it Muted Mountain.
Muted Mountain.
But then it might offend people that are mutes. I don't know.
Hey man, if you look hard enough, you'll be able to offend everybody any moment of the day. You'll be able to.
Can we call a thing like Tree Mountain? Is it going to offend trees? Snow Mountain is going to offend snow? Like, I don't know. At what point does it really get?
All I know is that Black Mountain is on borrowed time in New Hampshire.
God damn, yeah.
Borrowed time. Whiteface, you're on borrowed time. Borrowed time, my friends.
You talk about targets for changing the name. Whiteface. I'm sorry. That's got to be up there.
What if Whiteface and Black Mountain just decided to flip the script?
Black and White Cookie Mountain.
Blackface Mountain and White Mountain. They just switched it up for a day.
Blackface White Mountain.
People would lose.
Whiteface Black Mountain.
Isn't that like the store, like that women's clothing store? Blackface White Mountain.
It's like a black
White Market. White House, Black Market,
something like that.
Yeah,
White House Black Market, is that what it is?
White House Black, I think so.
I don't know,
man.
Red House Blue Market. Who cares?
We're getting canceled just having this conversation. Like, we're just discussing ideas.
Whitefish, they're on notice too.
Whitefish, forget about it. Yeah. Wasn't that Game of Thrones? That was the Blackfish, right?
Blackfish, yeah.
Blackfish, yeah.
The Blackfish. That was a cool logo too.
He was the only gangster in that family left.
They're talking about changing the Squaw Mountain to something, and like Whiteface has no comment.
It's like that meme, like that Muppet, where it's like looking and it's like looks away, kind of thing.
It's just creeping away into the back,
or like
just
Homer backing into the hedges.
The representative of White Mountain from Whiteface just kind of slid to the background.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say on this.
Whole lot of nothing. But
oh boy.
And now I actually Suicide 6 also too. They are starting to have a reputation as being a little bit because they were supposed to have the Bronco off rodeo there too last year.
What happened to that?
I believe. I think someone got wind of the fact that Broncos aren't electric cars and had like a panic attack, and their scarf got all sweaty and they had to go to run to like the town board, and they're like, we can't have this in our town. We only have Toyota hybrids, Priuses in this town.
I want to see like a Prius off-road rally.
That would be the shortest rally ever.
Everybody like pushing cars. It'd be great.
Yeah. So Ford is like, well, we'll just go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire's like, welcome. Come on. Bring as many Broncos as you motherfuckers can round up, and we'll get them in here and drive them through the rivers and mountains and whatever.
Need extra gas? Gonna chuck in some gas and just pour it down the mountain for you. Don't worry about it.
There is definitely an attack on fun these days.
Yeah.
I think so many people are just miserable and upset and hate their lives and hate their jobs. They're just lashing out to hate something. And like I was thinking about my life today. I'm like, I have so little fun in my life right now. And I'm like,
when was the last time you played in mud? When was the last time? When was the last time you played in the mud?
Played in the mud. It's been far too long.
That's what I'm saying. When was the last time well, you may have because you got little kids, but last time you ran barefoot in grass?
That was today.
Yeah. But I'm saying a lot of people, they don't even do that.
What about last time you actually just jumped? Like just stood there and just jumped. Last summer, I was kicking a soccer ball around. I'm like running around kicking soccer balls. I'm like, this is so much fun. It's so simple, but it's fun.
It's fun.
Not
a lot of fun anymore.
Everybody hates fun.
Now, I got to walk around work watching exactly everything I say. I'm like, hello, how do you do? Like a fucking robot. People like
Mary, my hands. You see them. Not touching anything.
Just walking around. I'm touching myself. Oh, I can't even touch myself because I can't.
Like hands in your pockets, like not even your back pockets.
You can't even do that.
You back pockets are fine.
He's fondling himself while he walks through the floor.
That's why back pockets are fine. It's the front pockets.
Your ass. He was fondling his tush while he walks through.
What is he doing to his buttocks?
He's fondling his buttocks every time he looks at me. I don't know what to do with my hands. like Talladega Nights. I don't know what to do with my hands. Horrible.
Goddamn people, it's only getting crazier. It's only getting crazier.
Just wait. All right, there's a new season pass from Copper. Ski Copper offers 3 days.
I believe it's Cooper.
Oh, sorry, not Copper. Cooper.
This is where the Coop Fusion.
Coop Fusion. And we talked about these guys, right? So
yes, but they're jacking it up for this year.
Yeah, so they offer 3 days at 58 other independent ski areas. So they do their own like independent pass.
Yeah.
Ski Cooper, located on the Tennessee Pass in Eagle and Lake counties, will begin selling season passes for the 22-23 season Friday with 13 new partner resorts added to the pass. Family run ski areas offering guests 15 to 74. 74. Damn. You mean 70 and up, you don't get free pass? That's bullshit. Unlimited access for $329 through the end of July.
What if you identify as 75?
I identify as
75. Where's my free pass?
That's right. It was the same price as Ski Cooper offered during the 19 and 20 season. Prices will increase on August 1st. Our core mission is to keep skiing as affordable as possible, and we take tremendous pride in the ability to do that through our pass. Ski Cooper CEO Dan Torsel said, the family atmosphere and excellent quality of service we've been able to maintain is a credit to our team and only adds to the value we provide our pass holders. That we're also able to provide access to a host of like-minded resorts across the U.S. is just the icing on the cake.
And this has got some weird ones. Like this has got some way out there ones. Now, one thing that I noticed on here, Bear Creek in Pennsylvania is on here.
Ooh.
I took Benjamin there, and that is a really nice place.
Nice.
Again, it's not huge, but they built this beautiful hotel there. I mean, it's a real nice spot. We had a great day.
I gotta
skiing
say,
there.
58 resorts. And they're everywhere. So new
it's
for
way
this
more
year.
Spread out than the Indy Pass is. The Indy Pass has got a lot on the East Coast and a good amount in the Pacific Northwest. While this is just really all over the place.
Think of how awesome it would be to merge these two. Boom.
Boom.
It. That'd be the epic Indy.
The Coondy Pass?
You
can't call it the Coondy Pass.
Oh my God.
Or the Imper Pass?
The Imper. Like, oh boy.
Hot
water burn, baby.
You can't mix the words together.
Okay, so new for this year are Mount Spokane, Washington, Mount Shasta, California, White Pine, Wyoming, Terry Peak, South Dakota, Snowstar, Illinois, Giants Ridge, Minnesota, White Cap Mountains, Wisconsin, Marquette Mountain in Michigan, Blue Knob, Bear Creek, and Mount Pleasant in Pennsylvania, and Beach Mountain in North Carolina, which is right by App State where I went to school. Boom!
You've skied beach, haven't you?
I skied beach before. It was pretty good.
Look at that.
Yeah, so this is
pretty
pretty interesting.
Up that freaking pass, man.
Jacking it up. I got to look at the whole pass. I got to go to their site and be like, what's up with that? We got to do a deep dive on this.
There's actually like some deep analysis here.
Like I got to write something down. I need something to write on. I don't have my pad today. This is bad. This is where we go off the rails. I usually write a lot of stuff that I can't decrypt until like the next day, and I'm like, I don't remember what I wrote, but I got a little sticky note.
So they now have 58 passes as part of this pass that they pulled off, which is super cool. I mean, I guess the Indy Pass did too. Kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but $329 is nothing. That's 2.5 days of skiing at some of these other resorts.
So I don't think you get. So is that actually? That is actually a full Cooper season pass too.
That's a full Cooper season plus the 58 partner.
So you get 3 days at those other ones.
Yeah, but isn't that insane?
Yeah, and there's a lot of them on here. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. You got Snow King out in Wyoming, Loveland in Colorado. Just trying to get some highlights here.
I might have to go ski Cooper. See.
Brundage, Bogus Basin in Idaho. Soldier Mountain, Idaho, which was for sale recently. I don't know if it's still available.
Wasn't that the one owned by Bruce Willis?
Indeed it was. Sundance in Utah is on there.
Damn. Gonna go to Sundance.
Gotta go to Sundance. A bunch in Wisconsin. A couple in New Mexico. I said Snow King out in Wyoming. A couple in Michigan. Lost Valley in Maine. Black Mountain. Whaleback Mountain. Dartmouth Skiway, all in New Hampshire. Plattekill, Greek Peak in New York. Yawgoo Valley, the only ski resort in Rhode Island on the pass. Shawnee's on here too in Pennsylvania. This is a pretty interesting pass, man. This is it lets the Indy Pass kind of know, like, hey, man, we're here too.
Here's what's up, man.
And again, $329. You're getting 3 days at those areas. The Indy Pass, you're only getting 2 days. So,
damn.
Again, it really depends on where you are too, because some of these, it seems like this pass is more suited for folks that are out west. Indy Pass seems a little more suited to those on the East Coast, but it's starting to get a little competitive now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. I mean, again, this competition, these sort of passes, the folks who benefit are the skiers, obviously. So it's great that they're having these different passes coming about. And again, some of these have different restrictions, which I was kind of looking at now. But
so this is kind of a cool area. It's not that far from Vail.
The Cooper, right?
Yeah, it's like between Vail and Keystone.
Yeah. And they have a really nice map too on their mountain showing you where all these mountains are. Bunch in the Midwest. If you're in, Michigan, there's some options. Wisconsin. They really do cover. They cover like so many states. I mean, South Dakota, they've got one of theirs. A bunch out in Colorado, a bunch in Wyoming, a couple in Utah, a couple in California.
You're talking about just over an hour from Denver. So you fly into Denver and boom, right out to Cooper. Got to get a ski house out there.
Yeah.
Fly in, boom, ski there a few times, and then on to the rest of the world.
Well, it's got Loveland and Monarch on there, and I've heard Monarch is a real good time.
Monarch Mountain.
Yeah, in Colorado.
I've heard of Montage Mountain. That's pretty good too.
Montage Mountain. That's on the Indy Pass.
That just got added, right? Yeah.
Last year, yeah.
See, they all blend together for me for a while.
You got some options here. So you got some options. But it's not on this. I'm drawing a blank right now. Ober-Gatlinburg is not on here.
That's on the Indy Pass.
Sure is. Not on this pass, though.
Boom. They have beach.
Some very good stuff here. You may want to check that out before you've committed to your pass for the season. We got one more story here in the good old ski news. Going to the Sun Road, Montana, will not be open fully by the 4th of July. Why not? Too much snow.
The problem is they named it Going to the Sun Road. Why can't they just name it Sun Road?
Going to the Snow Road. So after evaluating the Going to the Sun Road this week, park officials have determined that the road will not be open fully for the 4th of July holiday because of too much snow.
Damn.
Unprecedented winter snows and late spring snowstorms slowed plowing progress on Going to the Sun Road this spring. Park officials are working to determine a new no sooner than date to help visitors plan until the full length of Going to the Sun Road is plowed and open to traffic. The west side vehicle closure will remain at Avalanche Creek and the east side at Jackson Glacier Overlook.
Damn.
So I'm trying to figure out.
So what are they going to make? Are they going to make like a cover for this thing?
What's that?
How are they making this road like non-avalanche? Are they going to make like almost like a shell over it so that the snow avalanche doesn't pour over it?
I don't know. This is the road that's closed all winter, and then they usually break it open in June and July. But they said they just got in June 18th. They got 2 feet of new snow at 6,250 feet, and it's just been a bizarre year. So they're still working on getting that open.
Wow.
Yeah, it's out in Montana. It's a pretty sweet area. I'm trying to get some more details about this. But yeah, they're still trying to figure out when it's actually going to open. So
got a tunnel. Tunnel solves everything.
Bobsled.
Tunnel or just do
Hyperloop.
No, just do car whatchamacallit?
Lowrider.
Things drones that just pick up a car and just like chuck them out.
UFOs.
And drones, just grab a whole car with a drone and just lift it wherever it needs to go. You don't have to worry about building any roads. You just drone it out.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah. As long as it's not currently snowing, you're good. Just drone it out.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all part of Glacier National Park, and they're still saying it's closed, but should be open soon. So get your summer skiing on, just not right now.
Just not now. Unless you have your own drone or your own flight suit. What's the one
of those like what was that guy? Jetman or whatever?
Jetman. Your own jetpack. Jetpack.
That is the future. Well, that wraps up the old ski news. And we're going to roll into our main topic, which we had a great interview last week. And, we're fortunate that his team was able to reach out to us. We had a great conversation. Jacob Perkins. So he is an American speed skier. And for those who are a little bit older, you might remember speed skiing was in the Olympics, like way back in the day.
I remember that.
I believe it was 1992 was that Albertville, France, I think?
Oh, I think it might be Albertville. Yeah.
Pretty sure it was. Jacob is a professional speed skier. He's actually, interestingly enough, based out of Kentucky, but he is a FIS World Cup speed skier. He's got a top speed right now of 103.74 miles an hour. He had a top 18 finish in the World Cup season last year. He's currently ranked in the S1 class 32nd. In the S2 class, he's ranked 6th.
Damn.
So he's legit. And, he's
You are correct. It was Albertville, and the venue is Les Arcs. And it's the 92 Winter Olympics.
And that was like the time about when they changed the Olympics. When because originally they did them winter and summer in the same year. I think 92 was the last one they did that. And then they switched. So it was cool as a winter sports enthusiast. You had the 92 Olympics and then the 94 Olympics.
That's right.
So you're like, you got some like extra winter Olympics. And imagine if you're an athlete, that you're like, dude, usually it's every 4 years. I'm getting a 2 year. You're getting like a bonus Olympics.
Getting a 2 year bump. That's right.
That was Lillehammer 94.
Oh, look at that.
That era, like I know my Olympics from that era. That was like when I really cared and wasn't so jaded and thought about how it's just manipulating all these athletes and making money off of them. That's
Lillehammer 1994. Huh.
I know some stuff about some stuff. So we had a great interview with Jacob. We think you'll enjoy it. Check it out. All right. We have another very special interview. This gentleman is a speed skier. And hopefully, if you don't know what speed skiing is, we're going to learn about it. So, Jacob Perkins, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where are you based out of?
So I'm based out of the Midwest. I spend most of my time in the summers in Louisville, Kentucky. And then in the wintertime, I'm traveling for different ski competitions over in Europe.
Okay. Louisville, Kentucky, not exactly the hotbed of skiing.
Nope.
So how did you get involved in speed skiing and what is speed skiing?
So I actually got involved in speed skiing later in life. It was actually after college. I was looking for a way to get back into competitive skiing. Before college, had participated in ski racing, and then I went and played tennis in college. And I realized that my years as the time commitment and just and then like I was saying, the age put a hamper on it. I was looking for a way to get back into the sport and compete in some way because I love competing. And I came across speed skiing on social media and the internet, and it looked very cool. It looked dangerous. It looked fun. It looked like an adrenaline-fueled sport, and it caught my attention. I was like, okay, I want to try this, and so I just started reaching out to different members in the speed ski community, and they all welcomed me with open arms and provided me tips on the equipment and where to get all the specialized equipment that's required for the sport, and also how to get into the different competitions and technique and so forth. So they really, without all the other speed skiers and the help from the community, I wouldn't be where I am today.
That's very cool. So you said you actually competed in ski racing before?
Correct. Yeah.
What events did you do then?
I did slalom and giant slalom. and so did that at the USSA level, and then did masters as well, and then but never did like FIS level events in either one.
Okay. So how does the equipment and the gear differ between doing like slalom skiing or if you're just doing regular resort skiing versus what you're using in speed skiing?
Sure. Yeah, there's some similarities. I mean, the construction of the ski is similar, except for the fact on the speed ski, they're much longer. They're about 238 centimeters in length versus a slalom ski is about 165 centimeters. There's no side cut at all, or very little on a speed ski. It's basically a straight long board because you're going in a straight line down a hill, and you don't want the ski to hook up. And then in addition, the ski is wider as well. The bases of the ski versus a slalom ski.
So you're moving almost towards like a ski jump ski.
It is. There's a lot of similarities to ski jumping, in the sense that if you look at a ski jumper, it looks like they're just kind of just going through the air and not doing much, but they're actually making lots of fine-tune adjustments with their hands and their body position to maintain that smooth trajectory down the ski jump hill and into the finish area.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can see, especially like the your core muscles, your back muscles, the things that you want to make as many adjustments as you can, without kind of making those drastic moves that can, it's like, I don't know if butterfly effect's the right thing, but it's like the tiniest little movement at that speed just makes a huge correction versus just like a tiny twitch, which will probably get you where you need to go.
Yes, yeah, it's small movements and nothing you have to anticipate, and nothing's done super quick, because if you do, the consequences can be disastrous.
Especially at the speeds you're going.
Yes.
So the equipment is, again, you're saying more like a ski jumping, longer, no side cut. What about training for this versus like, I mean, I know, we've talked to some other, competitive skiers on the podcast, and just, watching, you watch Instagram, you watch Michaela and Alexander doing a lot of the plyometric, a lot of big heavy squats, that kind of stuff. How is the training different for something like regular skiing events, like a slalom, giant slalom, versus speed skiing?
There's actually a lot of similarities. We do a lot of legs, core, try to build a good foundation, cardio, especially in the off season, we're lifting fairly heavily. There's a lot of balance training, but the weakest link is going to fail when you're skiing 100 miles an hour. So you just have to make sure that you're well balanced, well in tune, you're strong everywhere, and that there's no lack of focus or concentration. I think that your mental game is a huge part of it as well too.
Yeah. What about, do you work with any like sports psychologists, or is there any sort of exercises or program that you get into mentally to get into a state where you're like, I'm going to go 100+ miles an hour on my skis?
I have worked with sports psychologists in the past. What I found to be most helpful is in especially the start area, to not think about what you're actually going to do. I kind of just think about something else, and kind of occupy myself until I get into the start gate. And then one of the great things about speed skiing is the helmet, the lens on the helmet, you can only see a couple feet out in front of you. So especially when you're in a tuck, so it kind of, in some sense, helps you focus in as well, because you can't hear anything around you and you can't see very far. But I'm always thinking, just focus down right in the sweet spot of where your vision is, especially when you get going and get low and get down into the tuck as quick as possible.
Yeah. Could you talk more about the helmet that you guys use? I mean, that looks like, that looks nothing like any other kind of ski helmet out there. It's very unique.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of say it looks like a Darth Vader helmet. I think it sort of does. Each helmet is there. It's similar in the sense that it has kind of a teardrop or dome-like shape to it. But each and every speed skier's helmet, while they're all similar, are different because they're customized to their body type and especially their shoulder size, if they have wide shoulders or narrow shoulders.
Really?
Yes, and their head as well, because in all speed ski helmets, there is and this is mandated by FIS, that there's an inner breakaway helmet. So that helmet needs to be correctly sized to the racer to ensure that it will stay on the racer's head in case of an accident.
So is it better to have a big head or a small head?
I think having a larger head actually is helpful because the outside circumference and so your speed ski helmet can only be a certain diameter, and they will check this at the finish area via the hoop test. It's this large wooden hoop, and they take the speed ski helmet and run it through both vertically on its end and also on its side to make sure that it fits within those limits. Well, the widest thing is your shoulders. So if your head is wider, you're just adding more weight, but your aerodynamic profile hasn't changed. So if your head can be larger and your shoulders can stay the same, then that's actually better.
So big head, small shoulders is the ideal profile.
Yeah.
Interesting. And now, did you guys do I'm sure you do wind tunnel work for aerodynamics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the racers do wind tunnel work. It is very expensive, and unless the National Ski Organization or you have funding, it typically ranges several $1,000s an hour to do wind tunnel testing.
Whoa.
So if you're trying to fund it yourself, but a lot of racers that either are not getting funding from outside sources or able to foot the bill on their own will do either simulative to a speed ski run at typically either lower speeds or either on top of a vehicle or something else to mimic. Yeah, it's
just hop on top of your Subaru Outback and just see how.
Yeah. There's actually a record in car top speed skiing. It's over 160 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
What kind of car?
It was a Streamliner. It wasn't done on a normal car, so to speak. Okay. And it was done in a controlled speed testing environment. But
not on Route 95,
No. I think I think you would get in trouble if you did that. But that would be pretty cool to see somebody coming by at 160 miles an hour on the top of a car. So
I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying you should do it. If you want some viral video action to get some some buzz for the sport, that could be an option. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you get a lot of YouTube views. And then another option is just when I train, I'm just training at a resort. It's actually on a run where they practice giant slalom. They close off half the run for giant slalom, and then I will practice on the side of the run. Most speed ski hills, they're a long run out area, and then it's fairly steep throughout the start and then the midsection of the run. So it goes steep and then flat. But when I'm training, I'm not skiing at 100 miles an hour. I'm typically training somewhere around 60 to 70 miles an hour, which is still fast, but it's not fast where you're thinking about, how to go faster, but more on your technique. Because once you get solid technique, that translates over into the speed. When you get onto larger slopes and bigger competitions.
So it's in a way kind of like martial arts, where you're not hitting full punch, but you're doing all the right motions so that when you get to the real event, your muscle memory is there, you're in tune, and you can just kind of put it into the next gear. And and compete?
Yes.
Okay. Now, a question about the runs then. Is there a certain degree or pitch that is mandated for a speed skiing run?
There's not a certain pitch, but they're typically very steep. And then the run out area, like I said, is very long and flat. There are certain lengths that are mandated for the run out area, especially, and then also a certain speed of the track for. So they have two different types of competitions. They have the Speed Masters, which is where like world records are set. And that is not done on a typical, or at least at the start level of a regular World Cup speed ski track. And then they have the World Cup competitions, which they try to keep at or below 200 kilometers an hour. So
that's like 120 miles an hour?
Yeah. So it's not just the pitch of the hill, but it's also the length of the hill as well.
Okay. I'm just trying to look up for and I'm sure you know it. What is the current record right now for speed?
It's over 158. It's like 158.2-ish miles an hour.
That was pretty recent too. It happened, right?
It was. There's been a gap here where some records haven't been set, but a couple years ago there were several sequential records set, and they were all very close to each other. Like one was 158, the current one, and then there were several that were just a couple K slower.
Okay. 158 miles an hour.
Yes.
Do you know what your personal top speed is?
Mine is 103.74.
Okay. And what does that feel like at that speed? Does it feel, I mean, I guess it's almost asking like a race car driver, like what's it like going 200 miles an hour at like Daytona? Like, is there like an extra adrenaline feel that you get, or is it all kind of, you're a professional and it just is what it is at this point?
I think everything kind of slows down because you're super focused and you have a plan and you're relying on your training. But I actually couldn't believe it when I did go 103.74 miles an hour, because it didn't feel like that. It felt very smooth, and part of that is the preparation of the track. At all the competitions, the course workers and race crews, they do a great job making sure that there's no unexpected bumps or undulations in the track, and that it's groomed out very well. And then secondly is at those speeds, you're riding on a cushion of air. As you go faster, things start to smooth out. I'd say around 60 to 70 miles an hour, you'll start to notice like the little tiny bumps and stuff that you might have felt at 10 miles an hour, you're planing over it. It's kind of like when you're on a boat and you go 10 or 20 miles an hour, and then you go up to 40, the ride actually starts to feel smoother in a speedboat. And the same thing happens in speed skiing as well.
You kind of hit that like sweet spot where you're almost like a superhero at that point, right?
Yeah, it feels like it.
So now you got a video on your website. It's of you crashing at 100 miles an hour. Like, what's that feeling like? And what's the first thought that goes through your mind once you kind of lose it?
I think the best thing to do when you do lose it is to go with it and not to try to fight it. I think it causes typically more harm than good, because the chances of you making a recovery after you've gone past the point of typically no return is slim. And by not going with it, you could either wind up in a more compromising position when you fall. But when you do try to fall, you want to fall. You don't want to fall on your back. You want to fall on your side, preferably, and hopefully your skis release.
Do you train for crashing, like specifically?
I don't necessarily train for crashing, but I've crashed a number of times learning to ski.
You get good at it.
Yes, you learn how to roll with the punches, so to speak.
Yeah, well, almost literally, because I know, like, I went, I grew up ice skating and playing ice hockey, and I took my son ice skating for the first time last weekend. And, to kind of keep his morale up, whenever he would fall, I would fall. And I kind
Hmm.
of, like you said, you want to fall in a certain way where you kind of can just, almost like on your shoulder, roll with it. Okay, I'm going super slow. I'm not going anywhere near 100 miles an hour, but there's a certain way to where you kind of, it's almost like the martial arts, the Aikido, where you take your energy and you use someone's energy against them, the momentum. And in that way, you kind of want to, like I said, roll with it so that you're not twisting, grinding, snapping anything, just kind of letting your body just get rid
Yeah.
of that speed and energy as safely as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Just relax and let it do what it's going to do. And also too, you have to trust your safety equipment as well. I mean, we wear several layers under our suits. Our suits are made out of special material. We all wear back protectors. And hopefully, like I said, your bindings, release, and your settings are all right. And if you trust in those things, I've seen a lot of people take pretty hard falls at even faster than 100 miles an hour, and they walk away with either no injuries or minimal injuries.
That's amazing. That really is a testament to the technology that they're able to do that. Do you guys have those inflatable suits underneath?
I have thought about purchasing one or trying to work with one of the companies. I do think that they have been proven in the alpine events to greatly reduce injuries, and several of the top downhill skiers wore them in the Beijing Olympics. And as far as the profile, one of the concerns early on with those type of suits was that, okay, you have this extra padding and the equipment required to inflate the vest, and that's going to make your profile bigger, and it's not going to allow you to move right, or you're not going to be as aerodynamic, and that was proven wrong, because several of the people that podiumed or slash medaled in the previous Olympics were wearing one of those inflatable suits.
Okay, yeah, and I guess with you guys, everything is aerodynamics. That is the most important thing in terms of safety and speed.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to be on FIS approved equipment. Our skis are all even though they're made by different manufacturers and they are custom speed skis. I mean, you can't buy these at a regular store, but they're all the same length. They're all 238 centimeters. They all weigh, give or take, the same amount. They all have the same camber-ish profile and side cut profile. The boots we race on, they're standard boots. I mean, everything, there's rules and regulations we have to adhere to. And then outside of those, there is some leeway to change things. But by and large, we're all skiing on very similar gear. So aerodynamics is very key. And then secondly is the wax and preparation you do for your skis. I'm currently actually preparing my skis for next year, but my skis will go through somewhere around 30 to 50 wax cycles before they hit the competition.
Wow. 30 to 50.
Yeah, complete. Yeah, complete wax cycles, and it's premier race wax. I work with Swix, and the skis I use are Atomic, and I use a base prep wax, and I prep them, and then I move into harder and more higher end performance waxes, and then on race day, we all use some sort of top coat type of blend, and at the speeds we're going, that burns off in typically one run. So we put it on there, and at the end of the run we have to reapply it.
So you're still using one pair of skis for the whole event?
Some people use multiple pairs. What's challenging especially for international racers is trying to get all your gear to the competitions. Even I usually take 2 to 3 pairs of skis But with all my skis, all my prep gear, all the different outfits, and we have spares. Most of us take spares of everything in case there is a fall or there's an accident or something goes wrong. You're talking, 5 to 6 or 7 bags of stuff. And that's a lot. Yeah.
You don't have the Michaela Schifrin 60 ski quiver.
No. And one of the reasons she has so many skis is because she's not just competing in one event like I'm competing in speed skiing. She's competing in slalom, giant slalom, super G, downhill. She's competing in like 5 events or more. And she has skis, multiple pairs of skis for each of those events. So it quickly adds up.
Yeah, for sure. So just one quick other question back to the equipment. What about bindings? Are you using standard bindings or are they specific for speed skiing?
Most of the racers use Atomic 1018 bindings, and the reason they use them is because the heel piece on the binding is a low profile binding. It doesn't come up very high. Yes, aerodynamics. And so in speed skiing, the back part of our outfit, which is attached to the back of our suit, in our calf area, it's called the fairings, and they are typically made out of foam, but the fairing has to clear the binding, the heel piece of the binding. It can't restrict the heel piece, and you can't modify the heel piece. So by having a binding that just naturally has a lower heel piece, which happens to be the Atomic 1018 binding, that makes that a very appealing binding to use. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to use that. All the racers are using some sort of race binding. And then secondly, the binding is not attached onto a race plate, which is mounted onto the ski. The binding is directly drilled and mounted into the ski top sheet.
Is that again for aerodynamics?
Partially for aerodynamics, and secondly, you want to be as close to the snow as possible. So in alpine events where the race plate provides dampening and allows you to edge the ski over without booting out, we're going in a straight line, so we don't have to worry about that. And having your center of gravity, even if it's an inch lower to the snow, improves your stability and, like you're saying, the aerodynamics.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
It's cool. And now you have an engineering background. So have you found anything that you could apply your engineering history to tweaking, modifying, improving to get a better performance?
Yes, I didn't really realize until I got into the sport how much my engineering background would help, but it's allowed me, not necessarily because I directly make everything on my outfit, but I'm able to work with the manufacturers and provide my technical input and feedback and come up with better equipment and gear to use in future competitions and upcoming seasons.
That's pretty cool. And anything else, do you have any thoughts of after your career kind of becoming like a consultant or starting your own company with speed skiing equipment?
That would be a dream job. That would be awesome. I love skiing and always enjoy sharing my passion with others. I do think that just like other sports and certain industries, skiing is kind of, especially ski equipment, is kind of a niche market. So you have to find something. You either have to do it better than the other manufacturers, or you need to come up with a disruptive / groundbreaking improvement technology and capture the market share.
Yeah, you need like almost like a cash cow product, and this can be like your passion project on the side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, I was kind of looking through the background on your all's ski podcast and the different stories you talked about, and I think that's great. Like you going to resorts in Vermont and New Jersey and in different areas, and I hope one thing, what has happened more recently is I feel like skiing has become even more commercialized, and there's fewer not only ski resorts, but businesses that are involved in the industry, and the ones that are there have captured a lot of the market share. And I think competition is, while I also like competition, I think it's great for business and developing the industry as a whole. I think having more mom and pop shops and resorts and more companies involved in the industry, while it creates competition between them, it's only going to make everybody better.
Yeah, and we've been huge fans of the Indy Pass ever since that's come out. I think it's the last 3 years now. Again, it's you're kind of getting people excited and knowing about these local ski hills that maybe I've talked about. Perfect example. I got my Ski Vermont shirt on today, and we did a share house at Killington. We're driving past all these amazing ski resorts in Vermont, and now with the Indy Pass, they get 2 trips, two visits per resort, and there's 50 some resorts on there, maybe more at this point. And the places that you drove past, you go to, and you're like, oh, this is why I fell in love with skiing, this mom and pop vibe, couple of friends. Maybe you got, 800 feet of vertical, 1,000 feet of vertical. But the amount of fun you're having there, the laughs, they're playing music at the bottom, it's like an old school familiar vibe, which is what pretty much all of us fell in love with, that kind of scene. And to bring that back, and like I mentioned, my son again, I've been taking him the last couple of years, and it's kind of like I can see it through his eyes now, and it's gonna make me fall in love with these little mom and pop places. And you want these people to survive and to thrive, because like you mentioned, competition is good, and these are like those feeder hills. Like you're not going to get a Vail, a Killington, like those big resorts, unless you have these small mom and pop feeder hills to build that passion.
I completely agree. I mean, I learned to ski on a small hill, and I still train on a small hill. I think you can learn a lot on not much vertical, and I think, like you're saying, that kind of ski town vibe and having like that community where you can go in and talk to different people. I thoroughly enjoy that, and I think that's a huge part of what skiing is about.
Yeah. I mean, you get the old snowcat guy, like he's got his stories, like he's been around for 30 years. Like he'll tell you some crazy tales. Like those are the people you want to talk to. You don't want to talk to people who are Airbnb in the village. Like those people are boring. Oh, I work on Wall Street. I got a hedge fund. Like you don't want to talk to those people. You want the real people. The guy who's been, operating the lift for the last 40 years. Those are the people. They have the stories. They are the ski industry. That's who we want to talk to.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting people at my local ski hill, so I always thoroughly enjoy talking to anybody I get a chance to. Whether it's on a lift ride, I encourage people. I know they go with groups or friends, but sometimes just ride up on a lift with a random stranger and just start chatting them up, because I've had some very interesting conversations.
100%. I was skiing solo this year, and I got on a lift. I was out in Blue Mountain in Pennsylvania, and I got on a lift with some guy, and he started talking. He's like, "Oh, it's my first day back on in 2 years. I just got my knees replaced, and I got some new skis." And like we chatted the whole time up, and like it was just great. Like you get to see people, like you see the appreciation that you have in yourself on other people, and it's what makes the sport so great. Is that people who are passionate about skiing are passionate about skiing, and there's a reason why.
Completely agreed. And I think trying to get, like, if you look statistically over the last 10 or 20 years, the ski population, it's been older, and there's been fewer returning skiers that ski multiple times a year. So I would like to see that change and have some of the younger generation develop the same passion for skiing that I have, and look forward to going out on the slopes and get out there hopefully more than once a year.
It's funny, like so many people, I mean, I live by the beach, so obviously I get it. People are like, I hate the winter. The winter is so boring. I'm like, have you tried skiing? Like, do you know how awesome it is? And, if you're like in your 40s and you're not athletic and you're like, I'm not going to try that, I'm going to break my leg. Okay, fine. But if you have kids, like the best thing you can do for them is to just take them maybe you got to sit your laptop in the lodge while your kids, give them that experience though, because they will take the ball and run with it. Because there's so many schools that have, trips and after school programs, and get them out there. Like winter doesn't have to be boring. Like winter can be, to me, I'm sure you as well, winter's the best season by far.
It is. Yeah.
Because skiing is like unlike anything else that you can do legally in the world right now.
Yeah, it's great exercise. It's fun. It's a good group activity, and like you're saying, seeking out the opportunities at your local school or your college. Most of them have ski clubs. Getting involved in that is a great way to get into the sport and also share your passion with others.
Yeah, and you meet the best people. 100% hands down. The best people I've ever met have been people in the ski industry.
Yep. Several of my friends are, I would say different friend circles. I have my tennis friends, my work friends, but I have a lot of ski friends and they're very good friends, and always enjoy talking to them and whenever getting a chance to ski with them as well.
So we got a half an hour in the can so far. A couple more quick questions. Do you have a favorite course or location where you speed ski?
My favorite course is in Sweden. It's the Idre Resort. It's where they hold one of the World Cup competitions on the circuit. The reason I like the resort so much is because the hill mimics the hill I train on, except for just on a much grander scale. It's a shorter track than some of the other tracks, but it is actually the steepest of the tracks on the steep pitch. It's somewhere between 50 and 70 degrees. It's basically straight down. And but what I like about it is you accelerate fast, which is a similar feeling to the course I train on. And there's a huge run out area. So once you get through the finish line, especially on a good snow year and there's no compression, it's a great feeling. And I think that connection to back home makes it one of my more favorite competition hills.
Is that the one on your website where you have the 166 kilometer run?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's the one. It's a 180K track. Actually, this record they set 181K on the track. The track record was broken this year. It was running fast, and that's the thing about speed skiing is on any given year, the snow conditions, the weather conditions, how the track was prepared, all make a huge difference in the speeds, because a couple kilometers an hour difference can be attributed to just a small change in your tech or a change in the weather or conditions.
Yeah, I guess even just the wind shifting a couple degrees or a couple miles an hour in one direction or another probably makes a huge difference, right?
Yes, it makes a huge difference. We actually have somebody at the top of the course before everybody's running that checks the wind speed, and it has to be under a certain threshold for the racers to be able to go, because if there's a strong crosswind, especially at those speeds, it can prove to be dangerous, and especially in the finish area when racers are approaching their top speed.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
So 2026, Milan, Cortina, Olympics. Will speed skiing be there?
I'm not sure yet. Time will tell. There's several programs that are in review right now. I know ski mountaineering, which has not been in the Olympic program in the past Olympics, is a new discipline that's being added, and that's currently not a FIS discipline. But whether it's the 2026 or maybe even the 2030 Olympics, I would pay special attention to how the program and the competition is conducted in ski mountaineering, because just like speed skiing, and even though speed skiing was in the Olympics in '92, this is a new discipline, and it'll be interesting to see if it gains traction or a fan base, because if it does, then I think something very similar could happen with speed skiing, since more and more competitions are being added, and there's been a renewed interest in the sport.
That's great. So it seems like you're set up in the right place at the right time to capitalize on this. That's great.
Yeah.
And how many events do you guys have in this upcoming season?
So the season calendar has not been released, but the past year we had 4 different locations and 12 events in total. And that was just on the World Cup. That's not counting other nations had national level events or just FIS events, but just World Cup events, around 12 events this past year.
Okay. Are you anticipating similar numbers then?
Yeah, I anticipate the similar numbers. I believe all the resorts that were involved in the competitions this past year will want to be a part of it this next year. And we're hoping to maybe even add another event. One of the things is with the tracks, they have to be homologated and approved by FIS. So you have to actually run a FIS race before you have a World Cup event. So there's been several tracks over the past couple years where they've had a lower level or just FIS level race held on the track, and the track has been approved. So we have more tracks to pull from to add to an official World Cup schedule.
Okay. And if people want to learn more about speed skiing, where do we point them?
So if you're in the U.S. and you're trying to get into speed skiing, go to Highway to Facebook page Speed Skiing. There's a lot of great resources there. You can go to speedski.com. There's several links to speed skiing equipment, speed skiing resources, as well as other racers that you can get in touch with. And then if you personally want to reach out to me, check out jacobperkins.org and send me an email, and I'd be happy to get in touch with you and provide you information and help you get into speed skiing.
And on your website, jacobperkins.org, all of your social medias are there too. So if anyone wants to follow you, go there.
Yes. Yep. That would be great.
Jacob, anything else?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot of ground.
Awesome. I think we did. Learned a lot about speed skiing. I'm excited. We're going to follow you. And hopefully, if you want to give us an update on the season, be happy to chat with you again.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Jacob. Take care.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want more info on Jacob, go to jacobperkins.org. We'll have links in the show notes at our website, skibumpodcast.com.
Hey, 1994, Lillehammer, that was Tanya Harding time. That was it. That was the taking her out. Galooly.
Is that 94, 92?
94, Tanya Harding meltdown at the 94 Olympics.
Nice. It was a simpler time. A simpler time.
Yeah.
Well, we do have one story, and we're going to have to go
under the ropes.
So, Mario, why don't you start this one out for us?
It seems a little pretty far-fetched, but I remember when Brian brought this up, I was like, you know what? I saw this past week as well. So there's this concept. It's a giant luxury hotel that flies and stays in the air for years. And
for years.
Years. So it's a giant nuclear-powered flying hotel, complete with a gym, swimming pool,
what could go wrong?
To carry 5,000 passengers in unparalleled luxury. So it's like a cruise ship with wings up in the air. And I thought this was like something weird, like Soul Plane or, the big bus or something like that. But they have like a design studio, and they're like trying to make this shit a reality. So I don't know. Like at first I thought this was stupid. And then I'm like, all right, I'll be on board if it's blimp technology. But now I'm looking, they're saying nuclear-powered fusion reactors designed to never land, and it's just going to continually fly. And I'm like, interesting.
See, I was the opposite. I was excited about it, and then I saw the pictures of it, and I was like, "This is stupid and terrifying."
Yeah, like how many more engines can you put on the wings? They got like 50 engines. There's even like the landing gear is like 8 sets of landing gear. Like it's just
There's
bizarre
like
looking. I'm
20
like,
engines on this thing. This is the kind of thing my son makes out of Legos.
I
Like,
was
check
just
this
gonna
out. This
say
is
like
awesome.
a 5-year-old. This is the concept of a 5-year-old with actual luxury inside. So I'm kind of like, I like the luxury inside, but I think they slapped together the outer shell of like what this is in.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
god.
So
20 engines powered by nuclear fusion.
so they were trying to do plans on this for a personless ride. In other words, like it would automated just fly around the earth. And I think after one car crash or one plane crash, they'd be like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So they're saying, despite plans for a manless ride, the Sky Cruise will still require plenty of staff on board to be at every passenger's beck and call. So the greatly detailed video. So they have a video that you got to watch. It has like a gigantic shopping mall, theater, swimming pool, everything. And they're trying to build it as like a Sky Cruise. And it's funny, they have like a little, instead of like a dinghy for a big ship, they have like a little cradle with another little jumbo jet in it. I guess because it's so huge.
It's so insane, this thing. Like, you really have to see the pictures of it. There are 20 engines on like this. I'm
so
not
it's funny.
Even an engineer.
So it's a concept.
Insane. Yeah.
Right. So some have called the Sky Cruise concept the new Titanic, pointing out a plethora of issues with its design. The huge airplane would have issues taking off and would be far from aerodynamic. Others also pointed out faults with its weight, saying that an aircraft powered by a nuclear reactor crash, it could destroy a city.
Or the Earth,
One nervous passenger said, "Great idea putting a nuclear reactor in something that could malfunction and fall out of the sky." While someone else commented, "I'm sure I would be able to afford a ticket for the lowest deck with no leg space and no access to the lounge." A third wrote, "Those exposed elevators would be a big nope for me. Uneven drag would also like a word on those. The engine looks suspiciously like jet engines. Fusion reactor is used as magic future energy source, and your animation never bothered to raise the landing gear." So I don't know. They're probably going to raise a ton of money and see where this thing goes.
All I'm hearing is a bunch of haterade right now.
Hey, you know what? What's his face built the Spruce Goose, right? With the giant wings. They thought he was stupid, and he still built it with government money because he could.
Howard Hughes, right?
Howard Hughes built that gigantic Spruce Goose.
Yeah. Did it ever actually fly, though?
It got off the ground by like 10 or 15 feet. So officially it passed the regulation for the government contracts that he used to build that thing. So yes, it did fly.
Getting paid.
He's like, so you're saying it has to go over 10 feet for, like 30 seconds, and it went 15 feet for like 31 seconds, and there you go. Had it on video. That's it. Pay me. Pay the man.
Taking my check, sir.
That's right. You want it to fly and actually go somewhere? Well, you better put that in your contract next time.
Now, if you had told me that Elon Musk came up with this, and this is what it's going to look like, I'd be like, I believe it. It's going to work.
This is not Musk-like, though. This is, like you said, this is a 5-year-old putting a bunch of Legos together and taking 3 planes parts and putting them together.
This is exactly what that is. I don't know who Hisham Al-Ghali is. I'm sure he's a very smart man.
I'm sure he's high as fuck right now.
It's like someone took the back of it looks like the Enterprise from Star Trek. There's like a mall. Like, it's the most ridiculous looking thing.
So picture getting a cruise ship model and 2 airplane models and putting them together into a Franken plane.
The Enterprise, a sandals resort, and a couple of airplanes, mix all the Legos together, and that's what this thing is.
That's right. Maybe a jet fighter there too. Star Trek Enterprise right on there.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
Like, and then there's the clickbait of Anna Kournikova at the bottom. See? We're back to the clickbait.
So before the podcast started, we're getting some bonus stuff here. Before the podcast started, we started, for some reason, I don't know how Anna Kournikova came up, but she did.
because it's clickbait on this page. All over this page. There was
clickbait on this page. So Anna Kournikova, we started going on an Anna Kournikova rabbit hole, as one does.
That's what you do.
And we forgot, like, maybe we didn't forget. Maybe we remembered. Just like, you know, it brought us back to like 2002, 2001, that era. Again, Anna Kournikova, was she 20 years old there or whatever? And we found out the things you can learn. It's beautiful. So any Texas Hold'em players, poker players, apparently if you have an opening hand of an ace and king, they call that an Anna Kournikova. Part of the reason is AK, it's her initials, but also it looks a lot better than it performs. Hilarious.
That makes sense.
That is hilarious.
Makes
and also, too, you can order a White Russian, which, if you know what that is, obviously you haven't watched The Big Lebowski 1,000 times like I have. It's a drink. It's vodka, Kahlua, and heavy cream.
Yeah, heavy cream, not milk, heavy cream.
If you get it with skim milk, though, instead of the heavy cream, they call it an Anna Kournikova. Come on!
Come on!
Come on! These are amazing facts. Where else are you getting this kind of information?
I don't know. I'm still stuck on looking at Anna Kournikova pictures now.
You can go down a rabbit hole. She was, again, like one of the first people who got like, because that's when like digital cameras like first became a thing. Like there were so many like creep shots of her like playing tennis. Like,
but she wasn't a great tennis person. Like, so what I remember is people would be like, yeah, but she would have like the whole, like everybody would go out to watch her play. And, you know, in these big tournaments, like the Opens and stuff like that, you would see like she played and there was like, she'd get center court or there would be a big, you know, crowd watching her, nobody watching the other people. And it's like, yeah, you know, she's really only ranked like I think her highest ranking was what, 10, 5, something like that. She was never really like up on the top, but she had a lot of fans, you know? I don't know.
We know. We definitely know.
I got to see Anna Kournikova's top rankings.
Yeah.
Of tennis. That's to be number 8 was the highest ranking.
There you go. I mean, we weren't ranked 8th. We haven't been ranked 8th in anything.
You know, we were ranked above 8 in some things. I don't know.
Well, in terms of ski podcasts, number one, baby. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone else is boring.
That's right.
Wu-Tang for life.
Wu-Tang.
But anyway.
Wu-Tang Financials ranks us as the number 1 buy in your portfolio.
That's right. Always. Wu-Tang Financial. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com.
We're going to have tickets for the luxury hotel when that opens up. We'll be on there with a few fans, right? Just write to us.
Perhaps. You can do that skibumpodcast@gmail.com.
Boom.
Go to your favorite social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Untapped. You're at Skibump Podcast. And we'll talk to you guys probably in 2 weeks.
Yep. Stay high, stay falutin'.
See ya.